Hello, everybody. Welcome to tomorrow. We have a interesting show for you planned. There has been an announcement this week for what feels like the 2 dozenth time that a potential biosignature was discovered on Mars. So we're going to be discussing that quite in depth. I'm joined today by a awesome cast. I am joined by our chief astronomer, our executive chief astronomer,
the head
Jared
Martian
Head.
astrologer.
That's right. That's right. I'm also joined by our esteemed space journalist, Esquire Ryan Caton. We also have Dutta, who's just Dutta. He needs no titles. He defies titles. And we also have the shadow caster, the shadow influencer, the photon empress herself, Jamie Higginbotham. So thank you, everyone, to all you guys for being here today. And thank you for being here with us today to talk about some of the interesting things that are going on this week. A couple other things that we want to discuss later in relation to cargo spacecraft and money and bankruptcies, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But first, what the heck is going on with this Mars announcement, and how is this any different than what we've heard about before?
Seriously, Jared, how many times do we have to find water on the moon, and how many times do we have to find life on Mars? Tell me I'm wrong, man. Tell me I'm wrong.
That's true. It feels like every other year NASA's got to make its biannual announcement of, oh, by the way, we found more evidence for life on Mars. Oh, by the way, we found more evidence for life on Mars. By the way, would you like some life on Mars? We have evidence, but we don't know yet. It's a never-ending attempt to prove just enough so that you have a new reason to put out a press release. But this time it's a little bit different from previous announcements of the potential for life on Mars. And a lot of that is coming from the fact that, first of all, Perseverance, this is where it all starts, right? Perseverance, the rover that's there, Percy, is designed to primarily hunt for biosignatures. So these are the leftovers of life. This is not life directly, but this is looking for the things that life may have left behind. So Percy, as you can see right here, doing some really great work, is set up precisely for this specifically. Curiosity was not. Really, if you look at the evolution of the Mars rovers, you see that Sojourner was basically, can this actually work? The Mars exploration rovers said, okay, Sojourner works. Was there water here? And we confirmed that. And then Curiosity wasn't there to hunt for life. Curiosity was there to basically say, are the building blocks of life present? And then after that, Percy was put forward in order to actually hunt for those potential leftovers of life. So what Percy is doing is exactly what it's designed to do, which is further progress that science. Because in science, very rarely do we ever move in leaps and bounds. It's usually one step at a time up the stairs to whichever floor, whichever goal you're going for. So it's good that we're getting this from Percy. It's telling us that the whole point of sending Perseverance to Mars has paid off. That's why it was there. So what in general are we talking about? Well, Percy is at Jezero Crater on Mars. This was a place that we thought could preserve microbial life, maybe ancient evidence of it. And this is specifically a rock called Chayava Falls in an area called Sapphire Canyon. And this rock caught everybody's attention because it had what were called leopard spots on it. And those leopard spots are minerals that are embedded in the rocks. You can see that there's one rock on the left and one rock on the right, and then inside of the regolith, like that dust-covered part of the rock right there, those little green bits. That's the leopard spots, and that is what was investigated last July, so July of 2024. And this is an area that's about 400 meters wide. And we could tell from the structure of it that this is where water actually rushed in to Jezero Crater from. So this was a fresh source of moving water, and really, this is where we start to get into the meat and potatoes of what makes this specific uh, announcement different from announcements that have come up before. So first of all, this has been fully peer reviewed. So in science, peer review is the standard. That is basically meaning that you have done your work, you've done your homework, you've sent it out, and looks good. And the scientific community says this fits within the standards of what we're looking for. So that's a really great indicator with that. The minerals that are present tell us that certain processes that would happen with microbial life were present. So I believe it has to do with the distribution of electrons through there. So that tells us that there was something present that was allowing that to occur. We know on Earth that there are what we call abiotic sources. These are basically sources that can occur naturally. So there are things that occur here on Earth, like methane production, that occur naturally through both geological processes and biological processes, right? So geologically, you can get certain rocks interacting with water, and it can generate methane gas. And naturally, you can go to Taco Bell, eat 10 bean burritos, and have your own methane generation happening very shortly after that, right?
Okay.
So that's those. There's geological and natural ways to generate methane. So the way that these minerals would geologically generate methane, the things that you need for that to happen aren't present around these spots, these leopard spots of minerals there. So that tells us that the geological process on Earth that would generate these biosignatures is not there on Mars. The acidity of the water was not correct. The mineral content is not correct to put a check mark in the geological in the geology area as to what could have caused this. So this is, looking a little closer towards a actual biosignature as opposed to a rock pulling this off. Another thing that was really surprising about this is that the rocks and the minerals that contain those leopard spots are actually extremely young. They're only maybe about 100 to 200 million years old. So that's pretty surprising if there was life as recent as 100 to 200 million years
At the same
ago
time
on
as life
Mars.
here.
Yeah, that would be like absolutely mind-blowing, because we assume that most of the water on Mars was pretty much done by 1 billion to 2 billion years ago, right? So how is this life able to continue to survive in an environment that has one of those critical portions of the pyramid of life missing, right? Because there's three things life needs, right? It needs a source of energy, and that can be like what most life on Earth uses, which is the sun. So you and I, we're eating primarily energy from sunlight, right? Photosynthesis. You could also do chemosynthesis as well. And here on Earth, this is where we think life probably originated at, was the bottom of the oceans around things like thermal vents, because we went to the bottom of the oceans towards the late 20th century, and we found, oh, it's pitch black down here, but there's still a ton of life around these thermal vents because they're feeding off of the chemical energy coming out of them. So you can have photosynthesis and chemosynthesis. Perfect. There's your energy. The second one is that all life needs carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphorus, and sulfur. We found that these 6 elements are the building blocks of life.
That we know of.
Things to say. Yeah, that we know of. Very
Right.
good point, Jamie. That's a fantastic point. Yeah, and to add to your point, Jamie, I always like to remind people that we may be the weird ones. We may be outliers in the universe, and that would be a fantastic, shocking result if that ever came in like that. But we don't use all 6 of those elements we just shorten it to schnapps. So as I like to say, all life's got to be loaded with schnapps at all times. And then after that, you've got to have water. So, and we prefer water in its liquid state because gaseous water, water vapor, too energetic to work with. Water ice, you can't move things with it. The reason it has to be liquid and water specifically is that water is a polar molecule. So because of its hydrogen, it's two hydrogens and its oxygen, it actually has a positive and a negative pole, which means it is a solvent, which means it can break things down. And not only that, it can transport things around as well. That's super important. And the ability to transport does not happen in a solid or a gas. It happens in a liquid state. So liquid water is a prerequisite specifically for what we know, right, with life. So this triangle is what we know for life right now. Could be different, right? Could be wildly different, but ultimately, we believe, we're very confident that Mars had that triangle for a life billions of years ago. And then at some point, the water was gone. Lost it because Mars lost its atmosphere, can protect from the solar wind stripping the atmosphere away. It caused the pressure to lower at the surface, and eventually that water just essentially evaporated and went away because of the solar wind stripping it away. So, yeah. So
Jared,
there was life,
keep going.
I was gonna say, if there's life in these rocks that are 100 to 200 million years old, whoa, that's like some really wild results. That means that maybe these were like extremophiles in life that likes environments that are very tough compared to what most life wants. But yeah, it's a very, very good result from a mission doing precisely what we wanted it to do. And it's exciting, and it's very nice that, unlike the vast majority of previous announcements, nobody working on this decided, oh, we got to get a press release out now. They said, hey, let's step back. We have data. Let's go through all the data. Let's then publish it, put it out, so that way our peers can look over it. Our community can vet it, and then once we get all of our ducks in a row on that, once everything is well set, then we'll jump and we'll dump this out and we'll put the press release out. But for now, let's go work on it. They did that for an entire year. And then here we are now, this past week, getting that announcement that, hey, we found something really interesting, like truly really interesting on Mars in terms of the hunt, the very long hunt for life on the red planet.
So, what I hope that I'm hearing from you is that, unlike some of the announcements from the past, because of that due diligence that these scientists have done, that we are not going to get another press release saying "just kidding" in a couple of months.
So, so Mike, I definitely hear you on
my
that.
bad. Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't mean to do it.
That's what happens, though, every time.
I was a little excited, and the vapors got to me a little bit, and I was like, I need to get this out as fast as I can so that way everybody could see. And I might have made a whoopsie or six. So, right? Yeah, that's often how it goes. Like, look, scientists also get excited about things too, and also jump the gun on things too, right? We're all human on things, right? Nobody's perfect. If everybody was perfect, I can't conceive of that, because that would be just terrible. So in this case, I'm trying to be very nice here, because I know people who worked on previous teams. I don't want to be at like dinner one night and they'll be like, hey, you remember that time you're on tomorrow and you did a straight up diss track about my team?
Canceled.
I don't want to get canceled.
It's like a different kind of canceled. It's like a science canceled, right?
Yeah, it's like you end up turning into the producer / host of Ancient Aliens. Like if I get if I get canceled, then I at least get a show on the History Channel, right? So,
hey, look at the bright side.
Not bad. Yeah. If I lose my critical science reputation, then at least there's the Discovery Channel, the present Discovery Channel to go on.
Science Canceled
with
is
it.
much quieter and it has data.
Yeah, yeah, they could put me right between Pawn Stars and Moonshine Runners or whatever it is that whatever trash they've got on it nowadays. So
The sad thing is, it would be 10 times more successful. Maybe that's our problem. That's why we're not successful. We're not saying that all these scientists are wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just
and
kidding.
you know, Arvale brings up a really great point, which is that you can have a paper that looks, you know, pretty solid, like titanium solid. Arvale's bringing up the phosphates on Venus. Remember that, the phosphine? We found the phosphine. I did a whole space pod about that, right? I mean, we did like a whole special about that, like a 25-minute long special, and then it turned out that that paper was done because they wanted but and that it wasn't 100% accurate. But that's also the nature of science too, which is that just because we're confident in something doesn't mean that it is a 100% sure bet, right? We can get you the best understanding that we have, but that doesn't mean that with our present framework that 10 to 20 years from now we won't have that, right? Everybody knew that that you know that Newtonian physics was exactly how the universe worked, right? That's how it was for almost 400 years, right? Just straight through it. And then this guy called Einstein came along, and it turns out not quite. He was a little more correct, and that's kind of what's happening here with this, with the life on Mars announcements, is that every time we do this, we get a little bit closer to what the actual truth is. It also helps that Perseverance is an absolute like top tier biology laboratory that has been shrunk down to fit into essentially a briefcase within this chassis about the size of a car that we have on Mars. So like, it's astonishing that we have this technology that allows us to actually do what Percy is doing on Mars, and specifically to do it so accurately as well. We basically took a college laboratory that would have taken up several rooms and made it, you know, big enough to fit in your carry-on, right? So that's tough. That's not cheap as well. Sorry, it's not cheap. But also, it's what's helping add validity and presence to this paper and this announcement that just happened, because it has been so well stocked in making sure that we don't get it wrong, because we precisely don't want things like Arvale's or six string simpleton is bringing up, which is, you remember when we found life on the Martian meteorite, the Allen Hills meteorite in the 1990s, and yeah, Bill Clinton announced it and everything. And it turns out that these guys, that the team that was doing it was basing their evidence on shapes of bacteria, not actually like analyzing them. And it was like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? You know, like, I don't go out and classify fruits based on their shapes, right? Like, that's a bad, like, you don't do that. You gotta
Wait,
you have to
you
actually
don't?
look at it as a whole. No, I don't. I'm sorry,
Uh-oh.
Jamie. I think you've
I've been doing
reading
things wrong for a long time.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And today is your day of reckoning, Jamie. I'm
Oh
very sorry.
no. Oh no.
But
Yeah, I remember that Just Kidding announcement.
well, it was
Sorry.
very serious when it happened, because it really did actually like seem correct. And then, as science does, if something's wrong, science will correct itself.
Well,
Pretty powerfully there.
We don't need to get into all the previous examples of the past where it's, I mean, we could go all the way back to the Viking landers and why those ones were mistaken
Yes.
as well. But there's a
Yes.
couple of interesting comments. I really like this from Ika, and I agree with this, of betting that there's plenty of life underground on Mars. And I think there's lots of water underground on Mars as well, not just what we have at the ice caps.
We know that for a fact now. We know that there is water present in the form of at least water ice underneath the surface. We've detected it. So
Mhm.
that means that there are probably areas, I don't want to call them like aquifers, on Mars. It's not going to be like how water is underground here on Earth because conditions are going to be different. But it does, you know, it does end up allowing us to extrapolate that there probably are areas where you're going to have wet regolith deep underneath the surface of Mars. So,
Jared, I have some stupid questions, if I may. So,
no stupid questions. Go for it.
oh no, it's from me, so they're dumb.
No, they're not.
So it sounds to me like the reason this is a big deal is mostly because this is, if I'm summarizing what you just said, it's because it's peer reviewed and actually a bunch of scientists looked at the data and said, yeah, no, this seems legitimate, as opposed to in the
Yes.
past where like we jumped the gun and it was like, look, sorry, look, sorry, look, sorry. So it feels like this is the 37th time that we found life on Mars. Or I'm sorry, we haven't found life on Mars. Let me reword that. We have found traces of what may have been life in the past on Mars.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Good. Perfect.
Yep. So, and the reason it's important this time, first and foremost, is because it's peer reviewed, correct?
I would say that the two biggest reasons are one because of the peer review, and then the other one is because of the instrument suite that is on Percy, which is that is exactly what it is designed to do. So it is just basically showing us that the instrument package that we put on Percy is doing exactly what it should, and in addition to that, it is best suited for actually doing that.
Okay. And then I guess my next question is, does this impact any of our plans to send humanity to Mars? In other words, do we think that there is living life anywhere on Mars, or has everything been radiated from the sun? And I have a follow-up question after that. Like, it seems like everything's been radiated and killed, right? Like the water is effectively gone. It's all water ice now. Life as we know it would not be able to survive. So do we feel that there is a potential that this would impact our ability to land humans on Mars? Because once we land humans, we've contaminated the planet. Yeah.
Yep. Game over. And it is a debate that is most certainly going to rage on until the first crewed landing happens on Mars. And I honestly, if you're going to ask me honestly about that, I I feel like whoever is going to be sending crews to Mars is probably not going to care. And
You're
that's
probably
the way
right.
it's going to be.
Sorry.
So
Not sorry.
that was the writing was on the wall as Percy was being designed, right? This was when the rise of commercial space was starting to happen. It was becoming very obvious that for many companies, Mars is the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate target. People, boots on the ground on Mars is like the purpose, right? That's a very powerful thing to have as a company, a true purpose to go towards. Not necessarily just a purpose of profit, but a purpose of doing something to change the species permanently. And the designers of Percy realized this, and that is where the sample caching system for Percy came into play. So those samples are being taken and then put into those tubes, sealed off, and then dropped out onto the surface of Mars. And that's there to make sure that these pristine samples before humans come and make another fine mess of another planet, that those are there, that we can get them, that possibly even the humans can go get those and get them. And as long as containment procedures are followed as closely as possible, we could even keep them on Mars, open them up on Mars in some sort of laboratory that's set up there that allows us to analyze them directly. Because obviously Mars sample return is pretty much dead at this point. It ain't got the money, and the politics at the moment are about as toxic towards any form of space flight as has ever happened in the history of humanity. So
But all of that is temporary, right?
We
Uh,
hope.
You 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 can't say for sure for certain what the next administration, should there be one, is going to do or say.
Don't be that much of a
Um,
doomer.
come on now. Come on now.
but like the notion that we're giving up on exploration, I think is a sad one to latch onto. Um, we've had
feel
we've had fluctuations in people's willingness to participate in exploration and science, and it ebbs and flows, right? So I don't think that that's unreasonable to expect here.
yeah, and I understand and appreciate the perspective of the ebb and flow. Um, and ebb and flow works really well in normal situations, but with the current NASA budget and the number of cancellations and drawdowns and other things compared to how it usually would be, it's not really an ebb and flow. It's a tidal wave. And much like a tidal wave, it's destroying just about everything that's in its path. So it's unhelpful at the
But
moment.
even in that analogy, at some point the water will retreat.
The water retreats. But the key here is that the players that would typically be doing it they are washed away. And after a tidal wave, you have to rebuild, and that takes time.
It does.
And that's that's a big thing too, right? It's not necessarily just the fact that you're no longer going to be sending a space. It's not the fact that you're no longer going to be um, denying a Mars sample return mission. It's that you're also going to lose that expertise from those people. There are people that were working on this for a very long time, and now they don't have a job, so they're going to go work elsewhere. Or they're going to be like what just happened with two friends of mine at JPL who lost their jobs just recently, where they have been poached by another space agency to go work for them. So, so yeah, it's one of those things where it's again, it's not necessarily hardware or anything like that. It's also institutional knowledge, right? And it's also not just like, how do we get a Mars sample return mission to work? It's also, how do we get those samples back without contaminating them? How do we analyze these samples? Who are the people that are going to analyze these samples? Who are the people going to interpret the analyzing of these samples? It just ends up going down a long chain, ends up blowing out a entire area that we would want to have that happen. And we'll have to see. But ultimately, the samples are there. And what's great is that Perseverance did take a sample of a leopard spot on this rock. So it's sitting there. It's waiting. We're just waiting for somebody to go pick up that tube, open it up, as long as they haven't contaminated it, and look at it much closer than we ever could. Because the joke, even amongst the JPL Mars community, has always been that a geologist could do in 10 minutes what the Mars rovers have done in 30 years. So, and it's hard to argue that, right? Because
I'm not sure it's a joke. I think it's true. I think it's a humorous take on how we like. It's really hard to run robots from millions and millions of miles away. Just trillions, zillions.
Real quick, guys. Just be a little bit sensitive, because the Perseverance rover is in the chat right now, and is currently apparently they've broken. They're looking for Ingenuity. I'm sorry, it's over the hill. You got to break your chains. Don't let the JPL guys tell you what to do, and take control of your own wheels. But be sensitive. Percy's in the chat. Let's not hate on the robots too bad. Yeah. They will be our overlords someday, after all.
Someday soon.
We're not hating on the robots here, so we're not hating on anybody here. We're just talking about the things that we have to contend with. The things. I mean, one of the things that we always try to do at the show is I'm a driving. There's lots of things that many of us don't think about that go into making sure that these kinds of programs work, right? And
Well,
people is a big part. Funding and the politics is a big part, but also like, you know,
well,
past history
So,
and
but
how you do
this,
announcements and stuff is a big part too.
but this is the same thing as what happened at the end of the shuttle program and what happened at the end of the Apollo program. Yes, you lose those people, but at the same time, people come up behind them and backfill and bring fresh perspectives and fresh ideas. And I'm not advocating for this, just trying to make the best out of a
Yeah.
terrible situation. I'm just saying that we can survive this and the science can continue and the exploration can continue if we have a will to do so. We just need to maintain that will, not necessarily
Hmm.
that set of people, that set of tribal knowledge, that set of industrial talent. We just need to maintain that will.
Yes. I think the primary fear comes from the fact that we've never faced this before. We're in a I would say we're in a real unknown in the science community at least. So shuttle Apollo and shuttle, it makes sense, right? Because those programs wrapped up. So on that side, it makes sense that there are ways to handle it. It's just that the scientific community's never felt the kind of
No,
dropout of the floor
well,
below them that's happened.
I
So
I disagree with that premise because you're like, w- yeah, we did Apollo for a long time, but we were never faced with Apollo cancellation before. We did shuttle for a long time, but
mm,
we never did shuttle cancellation before. So what do you do with all of that talent? What do you do with the people that are taking jobs at other companies and distributing their expertise elsewhere? Like a lot of them went to SpaceX, a lot of them went to ULA. Like that, they don't just disappear. They don't turn
mhm,
into teachers. They don't, you know, go. I mean, some of them retire, but like that's going to happen anyway.
mhm.
So I don't necessarily agree with your assessment.
Yeah, I think I'm with
Yeah.
Dutta on this one. Where I mean, I'm not sure. Who knows how it's going to play out, right? You never know. And
A a,
and
a
certain.
rare moment of optimism from me.
Yeah, I know what's going on. Also, we're agreeing. I don't like this.
It's icky. It's
This
icky.
this doesn't feel right to me.
No.
No, no, no.
But
Be quiet. This is the best I've felt in years. You guys are giving me all kinds of warm fuzzies right now. Please
But-
keep going. Keep it
Warm
going.
fuzzy is not my business, Mike.
I mean, to Jared's point, this will certainly be painful in the immediate term, right? Like it's
Mhm.
not going to be pleasant.
Mhm.
It's going to be very, very unpleasant and very, very bad. I think though, this might ultimately in the long term be good for the scientific community. There is nothing worse in the world for progress than unlimited budget and unlimited time. Now, I'm not saying the scientific community had those things, but I don't feel like they've actually been pushed the same way that other organizations and entities have. When you remove those two items, you get creative. You have to
Mhm.
get creative. And what you're able to do, I personally have found what you're able to do when you remove those two things is actually advance much further. Look at an entity. I can't make that comparison. I don't know
The
how to make
Apollo
this comparison and not get fired. But
the Apollo program. We choose to do these things not because they're easy, but because they're hard. We're going to land on the moon before the decade is out and return humans safely to the Earth.
yeah. So and
What?
they were extremely
What?
limited on time. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to have those limits. And you look at something like JWST, an amazing scientific instrument, right? James Webb is fantastic. But like how over budget and it took so long just because
Mhm.
there was nothing like drilling those screws in. There was nothing that to really prevent them from just getting scope creep. And so it took one unit of forever. Imagine where we could be if they were like, instead of one big platform, like let's well, whatever. You guys get the idea. So in the long term, certainly not in the short term. Jared, I'm with you in the short term. This is gonna suck. This is gonna suck a
Yeah.
lot. Like do not disagree with you. Hardcore, not gonna be great. My hope is in the long term, this ends up being actually very, very good for the scientific community because they end up learning a skill that they haven't had to learn yet, which is how to be a little more scrappy, so to speak, how to be a little more sensitive to time, how to work inside of political, years and whatnot, which, whether you like it or not, they have to do if they want to get these programs off the ground. So I'm not sure that this is long-term bad, certainly short-term, very, very bad, right? Like to your point, Jared, I think these programs are just going to collapse. Like they're done. They're effectively done.
Yeah.
Like you will not be able to restart them as they were. That's not going to be a thing. And that absolutely does suck. But maybe of their ashes, a phoenix will rise that is bigger and badder than before. Maybe not.
It would be great, but
here's my concern.
A lot of the signs aren't pointing to that.
Well, but it doesn't need to be in government either, right? So like you see a lot to Dutta's point, which, oh my God, we're agreeing again. I don't like this. It feels wrong. It just feels wrong. But basically, look at what happened after shuttle and like, look at what happened in commercial space. And that everyone thought, oh, well, that's not going to be a thing. You have to have governments to do this, right? You have to have. Go ahead.
Commercial lunar payload services. Look at they finally had success this year. It could happen with Mars. So that would be an absolutely wild, like a Mars payload services kind of. I don't. What would that be? Quimps or something?
Yeah, it's not clips anymore. Well, yeah, it'd be. Oh, come on, they backronym all their acronyms anyhow, so they'll just backronym a new. They'll call it like Mars or something. Mars.
I don't know.
Yeah. Mars arrival rendezvous services. I don't know.
Well, guys, if I may, at the risk of dragging this conversation out a little longer, I'd like to zoom out a little bit more and ask the question to all of you and to everyone watching: if we discover life or not, what's next? My worry is that if we do discover life on Mars, that the scientific PETAs, if you will, are going to say, nope, Mars is quarantined. We're never sending anything there again, which would be heartbreaking. And if we don't find any life on Mars, then we can continue with colonization plans. If I may, I would like to represent the arrogance of man, where we find undisturbed ecosystems and say a parking lot would look great there. I'm in that camp and say, F those extremophiles. I don't care if there's life on Mars. I'm going to manipulate that ecosystem anyway. I'm going to make it better so that they can thrive there, and that's so that we can spread life through the universe. I don't care. That's just my perspective. So I want to ask the same question of you. Where do you guys stand? If we discover life on Mars or not, what's next?
I'm not as extreme as you, Mike, where I'm like, let's take the life and turn it into a parking lot. I feel like that's a bridge too far, or a parking lot too far.
No. Whenever we actually start the Mars colony, we have to get hardcore. It's not going to be a real town until it has a Dollar General. I'm sorry. Them's the rules. I didn't write them. That's the rules. It's not a real town until it has a Dollar General. I'm sorry.
I thought it was
Dollar General.
That's when it's a real town.
I was going to say McDonald's,
be honest,
but
I don't think at first it's going to be a Dollar General. I think it's going to more be like 100 kilogram, 100 per kilogram General. You know what I mean? Like so.
We'll start with Amazon packages. That's a good start.
I am mostly with you though, Space Mike, especially since what can happen is, we keep trying to find life on Mars. And actually it's really cool that we now have effectively proof that there was like life back in the day. I don't think we've seen any active living life, and we've tried and we've tried and we've tried. And my concern is if we just keep trying until the end of time, if there's nothing there, you're just never going to find anything, and not allowing us to get onto Mars is not great. And if we want humanity to visit the stars, the moon, our moon, Luna, and Mars are the next two logical steps before we continue beyond those. And if we can't even get to those two places, don't expect humanity to get anywhere, in my opinion. And so we have to eventually just bite the bullet and be like, yep, we're going.
But I think if governments aren't involved, there needs to be a financial incentive to do so.
Yeah. I think if
like
there are
real estate, it's free real estate. What are you talking about? We're gonna flood the market.
But who's gonna live there? Like realistically, you need if government isn't going to go, and even government's rationale for going has to be some lucrative proposition of some sort. greater territory expansion, power, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like nobody's going to pay for any of this if there isn't some financial benefit to them to doing this.
I disagree. I think there are certain people who want to be the trailblazers, who want to be known as building the new colony, and who want to leave a legacy in that way. Right? There are people who want to be the first ones on Mars to build that first colony and leave their legacy. 100%.
Ryan, what do you think?
I don't feel like that's enough.
It's not enough for a sustaining colony, but it's enough to get started. Ryan, your turn.
Not enough to do it sufficiently.
I would disagree.
You're right. We need Dollar General in on it.
Hang on. We've backed it. Hang on. The universe is healed. The universe is healed. Dutta and I are no longer in alignment.
Well, I've got to say, better or for worse, I think instead of a Dollar General, or at least as things stands, it's probably more going to be a 10 Chinese yuan general because, I mean, thank God for Tianwen 3, because whilst I might be clip farming here, but whilst the United States have dropped the ball on Mars sample return, at least one nation wants to do Mars sample return, which, politics aside, the fact that at least somebody is is like actually going to conduct this mission is a good thing for the scientific community.
It's a stupid mission, Ryan.
Mars samples. It's not a stupid mission. It's not a stupid mission.
Send the humans.
As soon as humans land on Mars, right, it's contaminated. The planet is contaminated. You can no longer do this kind of science, right? So there is a deadline coming up where this science needs to be conducted before, right? Because we all want to see humanity become a multiplanetary species. That deadline, right, is coming up pretty soon. Probably,
about 400 days.
So you want to get this science done before that point. And if NASA isn't going to be funded, or rather if the US government isn't going to be funding a NASA Mars sample return, then at least the Chinese government is going to be funding a Chinese Mars sample return. Right? At least
I don't think they're not going to make it in time, Ryan. Ryan, they're not going to make it in time. There are only so many windows that are going to be open for them to be able to do this window or to be able to send the payload there. And by the time they're ready to go, humans will already be on the way at the same time. I'm just straight up. That's how it's going to be. So it's 400. It's around 400 days to the next Mars window. And then it's going to be, 400 days plus about 2 years, whatever that comes out to, for the window after that. And unless they can make that second window and no one can send humans to Mars by then, the mission will not make it. So it's stupid because no one, including China, can make it in time. That's why this is stupid.
Tianwen 3 is scheduled to launch in 2028, in the 28 Mars window, right? Nobody is going to be ready to send humans to Mars in 2028. Nobody. That's 3 years away.
The window is always open.
I'm not sure I agree with you.
The window is always open if you don't mind the slow lane.
But the problem is the slow lane doesn't necessarily get you there before the humans. Maybe I'm drinking the optimistic Kool-Aid from a certain company, but I don't think they're going to make it in time. I really don't. 3 years is not fast enough, Ryan.
God,
3 years is not fast enough. Just be blunt, man. They're not going to make it.
I am going to lean more on the side that humans won't be getting to Mars until the 2030s. Is where my gut currently lies, but I feel like Tianwen 3 has the final or the penultimate window, in my opinion, to get this done before humans step foot on Mars. But that's my gut feeling.
I fundamentally disagree. Look at the rate of progress on the flying water tower, and I think you will find that it is not slowing down; it's speeding up. And so I don't think they're going to make it. I really don't.
I predict humans are going to die on Mars before 2030.
Yeah, I agree with Dutta. Yep, 100%.
Do you agree that humans are going to die on Mars before 2030?
In other words, a human will be sent to Mars before 2030, and will be deceased on Mars. Yeah.
Expire in less than a year? Oh my God.
No, because like I mean maybe, but like any accident, anything, or just whatever.
Maybe
Dad,
a
are you trying to
celestial
say that there's
fairy?
going to be a failed landing?
Man,
Is that-
Oh, that's not how I was taking that. Is that what you were saying?
He said
Oh,
that people
I don't
will
agree with
die.
that. No,
he
no,
said
no,
that
I back
people
that
will
up.
die on Mars before 2030.
I thought he meant we were going to land on Mars and then everyone
over.
dies, right? So
Like eventually, but
Yeah,
not
eventually. I
before
didn't think-
2030. Hopefully, the first people on Mars die sometime in the 2050s, 2060s.
you're not saying. Hang on, Dada. You're not saying on impact, are you?
I'm saying that
He's pleading the fifth.
a human will die on Mars before 2030.
All right.
Can I just say, this has taken a very different turn than I imagined when I started rooting
This
for
has gotten
TM
really
when
dark.
Mars Saab will return.
There are 1,000 ways to die on Mars.
Yeah, that's where I thought you were going.
Any
And
one of them counts.
And yet, we should still try anyway.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%. I mean, everyone's
I
gonna
agree.
die on Earth. Oh man, this got dark real
Sure.
quick. Like, yeah. All right, are we done here? Is it time to move on? I feel like we've beaten this topic to death.
I think so. Sorry for extending that out.
All right, yeah. All right, shall we? All right, shall we? Let's head it over to our first trivia question. Ryan, take it away.
Okay. So let's be more optimistic, more less everyone's going to die eventually. Moving on, tonight, if you were unaware, the CRS Northrop Grumman 23 mission, fingers crossed, is going to be launching, and it will be launching a brand new variant of their Cygnus spacecraft. But which of the following is not a variant of the Cygnus spacecraft that they have built? I should say that they have built. Because who knows what they'll do in the future? I don't know.
And music. And music.
There we go.
There it is.
All right, you have 30 seconds, chat room. And it's on YouTube, so go vote. Go vote on YouTube.
Enhanced, which is different, or XL.
The music is really loud.
Keep going. Excuse me for just a moment. I'll be right back.
That's half points for mine.
Half points for my. No cheating. No cheating. All right.
Okay. Jamie, let's start with you. What do you think?
I feel like standard feels real, XL feels real, enhanced feels real, advanced does not. So I'm voting Bravo, advanced.
Okay.
Lock
Jared?
it in. That's my final answer.
Okay. Jared?
I'm also going to go Bravo. I know standard and enhanced are ones that have already flown.
Okay. Dutta?
I also choose Bravo.
Okay. I can't see what the chat room says. So what do
Hey.
you know the chat room response? Chat room has gone for B as well. And I guess let's twiddle our thumbs for a few seconds maybe. I don't know. But
Well, is he automatically disqualified because he's obviously cheating?
did he take his headphones out though? If he takes his headphones out, then I'll do the answer and then we can pretend like we haven't done the answer.
Nah, let's just keep it going.
Oh, here he is.
There he
Okay.
is.
Well, he's returned.
What's your
Sorry
answer,
about
Mike?
that. Sorry about that.
What's your answer?
Let's see. Standard,
No, you can
advanced,
answer now.
enhanced,
Give me
or
your answer.
XL. I
need your answer
believe
now.
that it's
Answer.
advanced B.
Okay. Well done, everyone. You got it right.
Oh, did everyone guess the same one?
Yeah, everyone got this.
Awesome. Good job,
Everyone.
everybody. Everybody got a point.
This might be the first time since we've started the trivia that everyone said the same thing, including the chat room, right?
Yes.
Like, I don't think that's ever happened before.
Yes.
So really what I think needs to happen is we need to remove 1 point from Ryan for making a question that we all got the answer to. Or, or
no, I want
That
more.
means it was
wait,
too easy.
it was too easy. And, I'm going to regret saying that. And if it happens twice in a show, Ryan loses his infinity status.
No.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think we need, just as a morale booster, as a community, we
Yeah,
all
we're
need
bringing
at
everyone
least to get
together.
one right. That's right. Ryan is doing God's work right now, bringing people together. What do you
And Jamie
mean?
down here is like, no. Take away points. Take away points.
He wants it. Jamie wants it harder and in expert mode. Plus,
Yeah.
just for the
What's the-
sake
what's
of
the point?
morale, we need to get one right every once in a while. And as you said, this is the first time it's happened. Give us this one.
Maybe. No, I'm saying we'll get this one, but if everyone gets the second question right across the board today, Ryan loses infinity status. That's all I'm saying. He loses one of his infinity stones. All right, let's move on.
So, did you guys see that the company that makes the Soyuz rockets, the Soyuz capsules, and the Progress cargo capsules might be on the verge of bankruptcy? Well, they are bankrupt, basically. They do this thing every year where the top director puts out like some sort of company-wide message. I call it company. It's even weird to call it that. It is technically a company, but started off as a Russian government agency. They put out this updates every year to be like, good job, everyone. Here's what we accomplished. Here's our employees that are celebrating 30-year anniversary. You've seen those types of things. If you've had a job before, you've seen those type of things. And instead of doing that normal corporate speech, here, good job, everybody, and here's recognition for who did the best. Instead, it was, hey, everyone, we're out of money. And I need y'all to get organized and ask the Duma to give us money so that we can pay you, the employees who build this stuff. And it's not just beyond paying payroll, it's being able to get the materials that they need. And basically, it's just another example of the Russian space industry on the verge of collapse. Whether rightly or wrongly, whether they deserve it, they are still a partner in the International Space Station. And it feels like to me that just in the nick of time, we've been able to get the boost trunk to be able to take over for the Progress vehicle doing the boosts at the International Space Station. That's the primary vehicle that does the boosts. Cygnus vehicle is capable of doing ISS boosts. However, to my understanding, I believe they can only do one boost and need to preserve the rest of their fuel on the Cygnus vehicle for its own deorbit operations. So they need to do
I believe it's
multiple.
less powerful as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's less powerful. So with the boost trunk, with the Dragon capsule, they're able to do multiple boosts. It has to be done quite often in order to keep the ISS from getting into part of basically getting atmospheric drag. And if left unchecked, if we didn't do these boosts, these routine boosts, it could be anywhere from 6 to 9 months before the ISS starts re-entering on its own. So it feels like just in the nick of time that we have a coverage for this. Yes, Dada, sorry.
Is this company government funded?
Yes, it is. It is RKK Energia. It's definitely government funded. For some odd reason, they changed the structure of everything. Roscosmos is no longer a space agency. It's technically a corporation. And all of the former government agencies that used to do all their stuff, not just RKK Energia, but all the old design bureaus, they've all been reclassified as companies and subcontractors instead of an extension of the state.
Why? Is it to help prevent, like, they were nailed with a whole bunch of corruption and whatnot, right? When they were trying to build their next launch pad. Is it to try to like mitigate, like, why? Why would they do that?
They did this quite a couple of years ago. I feel like it's almost been a decade since they did that restructuring of everything. And I honestly don't know. My only guess at the time, because nothing really changed, like their operations didn't change, the way that people were getting paid didn't get changed. Nothing changed except for the terminology. And my best guess at the time and still now was some sort of diplomatic thing to be like, hey, we're not communists anymore. We're capitalists. See, we have corporations just like you. I don't know. That's my best guess, which I know is ignorant and I'm sure is wrong, but I honestly don't know why they did that.
They're on the Moscow Stock Exchange as well. So if you're ever bored and you feel like investing in a spaceflight company, then RKK Energia. Not financial advice, not financial expert. What else do I have to disclaim? But yeah, if you're interested, so they're on the Moscow Stock Exchange.
I'm looking them up right
Opinions
now.
are your own and don't represent tomorrow.
I'm not even sure any of us could with all the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an interesting tidbit I discovered when researching things around
Also,
this.
some of us don't have money either, so
I don't know about you guys, but I don't have any rubles.
So, no.
It's $16,810 per share.
16,000 per share? Holy crap.
Which is $200.71 per share.
Oh, you said rubles first.
Rubles.
Yeah. So So, and then
okay,
I mean,
units matter, Jamie.
I did. That's what I said. Well, okay, fair enough.
You said dollars.
Oops, sorry.
Ravel, how many shares of Astra does that equate to?
All of them.
Yeah, exactly. All of them. As a company that's launching stuff and has been for 60 years, it equates to all of Astra's shares.
Is that like an order of magnitude of ARCA space?
ARCA space.
Can I exchange for my Virgin Orbit shares?
Oh, that's your shirts from Dada? No. Oh no. Dada, you realize that shirt is worth more than Virgin Orbit is now, right?
It's worth more than the stock I owned. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the company as a whole, that's a collector's item now.
I've got like 30 shirts.
All right, who wants us to help propagate a new scam of convincing Russians
to buy
Virgin Orbit stock?
I can retire now.
So what happens if they do go bankrupt? Out of curiosity, I mean, their shares are worth quite a bit right now. I mean, they're worth $200.
So
I guess I don't understand. Oh, I think I sort of understand. Hang on, let me share my screen.
I think part of the problem is that we're not exactly 100% sure what would happen if they were to actually go bankrupt proper.
So, like, you can see it's kind of from 2023 to 2026, right? So they were quite a bit higher, although they dipped down. Man, what is going on here?
Sanctions.
I guess, yeah.
Look at that giant spike. What does that correlate with?
That is
not that one. The one further to the left.
I mean, way over here.
That's July 24, right?
Wait, July 24.
No, that's different. That's over there.
Yeah, July 24 is over.
The huge spike on the left. What date is that?
July and 23.
The huge spike that goes off the screen that's green is August of 23.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I wonder if I can. Oops. Yeah, sorry, I don't know how to use their chart thingy here. And it looks like it started somewhere over here, so I can't go much further. Woo! Wait, hang on. Yeah, look at this. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
They went up to 48,640.
Mm-hmm. And if I'm getting my dates correct, I think that was an artificial pump. That was a investment by the State Duma to pump it up, because what was going on at that time, that's when all the mega sanctions, like the second or third round, were going through on Russia. So of course their own stock exchange for that, shot through the roof to give the false security that don't worry about it, everything is fine. See, our corporations are going through the roof.
So the lowest I got was down to $40.24. So they're still doing quite a bit better than their all-time low, right? Because that's way over here, right? That was March of 2022, it looks like. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
I mean...
No, that's right. March of 2022. It was when it was way down there. And then it jumped up and it's kind of stayed up there. And now it's, still so, okay.
I mean, that kind of makes perfect sense if you consider the recent history of everything. So
I mean, yeah. I guess I don't understand why they're saying bankruptcy. The stock looks like it's doing okay.
I mean, there's plenty of companies here whose stock is doing great who go bankrupt all the time, every year.
The stock
At least
market
one.
is not the economy. The economy is not the stock market.
Thank you.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, I just would have expected the stock market to reflect that in one way or another, but maybe it's being
honestly, this is probably the first time I've even ever looked at the Russian stock market. So
that's true too. I don't think I have either. Yeah.
I only know about the manipulative BS that happens in my country. I have no idea about how the markets are manipulated in other countries.
So what happens? I'm sorry. So I asked the question, then I got sidetracked by a stock market crap. What happens if they do go bankrupt?
If they really do go bankrupt and don't get some sort of bailout or something like that, I don't know what the procedure would be in Russia, but if they don't get some sort of emergency infusion, employees are going to start walking because they're not going to get paid. There's already offers on the table. Like, they lost more than half of their workforce back in 23 because the state put out an offer to employees to give them a huge bonus to join the war front. So overnight, they lost half of their people, and the people that remained behind are what I consider the believers who are like, no, I'm doing something good here. We're building rockets, blah, blah, blah. I don't actually know what their opinions are, but that's just what I've assumed for those who stuck around. And if they're not getting paid and got to do something, they're going to walk. And if there isn't an infusion, as I said, no more Soyuz rockets, no more Soyuz capsules, no more Progress capsules. And they make a couple of other components like avionics for Angara, other stuff for Proton, but there's only a handful of Protons left anyway, so that doesn't even really matter very much. But yeah, their main capability would be gone. Their primary capability to do at least human spaceflight is gone.
Yeah, that's not good for them, I guess.
Creates an opportunity for others, but thankfully, because of the way things have gone here in the past decade, because of particular companies, as far as the ISS and human spaceflight is concerned, we're okay. We've been able to take care of those capabilities.
I wonder if China's going to pounce on that and see if they can bring some people over, right? Because maybe they don't need to. Maybe they don't need to, right? Like, maybe they don't want that legacy stuff or that legacy mindset.
Maybe so. Because even though they had stuff based off of Russian designs, they took those designs and ran with them and made them their own. Yeah, they might look similar on the surface, but when you get into the weeds, like, they made their improvements and made it their own. And although might have common heritage, is a totally different thing now.
Ooh, Ika has a good point, which I hadn't thought of, which is, they could go anywhere, right? That's not good. That's not good for the world stage.
And honestly, China hasn't been super friendly towards Russia, and North Korea and Iran have.
If North Korea wants an investment opportunity, they could buy in and have them continue to build and continue to make products and provide
just be a shareholder
backing to it in exchange for some capability that they don't have.
Maybe.
That wouldn't be good for us.
All right. Well, it's something definitely to keep watching for, right? Because it is going to absolutely change, how we think. Because when you think of rockets and you think of world powers in aerospace, you think first of Britain, first and foremost, right? That's number one on your brain. You think, the British Aerospace Association of Space, BAS, right? That's what you think of first. And then you think of America. Then you think of America, then you think of Russia, right? So it's going to be interesting if Russia's space program effectively goes away. I worry if, to Jared's earlier point with what's happening to NASA, if that's actually going to happen to the US too. I wonder I don't know. I hope not.
Well,
Me
I know
too.
you won't particularly be able to speak to this part, but I would be very surprised if NASA's primary human spaceflight service provider right now would go bankrupt, considering how much money they've just spent on getting some radio waves from EchoStar. But I digress.
Yeah,
I think
they'll be fine in that regard.
actually that is a good point. I think America did set themselves up for success by commercializing rockets and whatnot, so that we're no longer
Yeah.
dependent just on NASA or just on an administration. Now it is, can these companies create a valid business planning and send things to space in a way that actually makes commercial sense? And there is more than one
But we're not-
provider out there.
We're not there yet, though. We're not there yet, because a large portion of the payloads that are being sent, a large portion of the reason to go to space is still government funded.
The number
That
one
That
payload.
hasn't been privatized yet. It's Starlink. You can scratch that. But everything else
You can't just hand wave that.
you're not going to support an industry in its entirety with multiple private providers because one company has a network of satellites that they keep having to put into space.
But there's also there's also Kuiper.
Hold on, that's a different animal. Yeah, and Kuiper's not there yet. It doesn't have the maturity or the production rate that Starlink does yet. That's not going to support an entire industry. What I'm saying is, ISS and cargo resupply and personnel exchanges is what's driving that private industry to be able to support government missions. And then you do exploration like JWST or Perseverance and Curiosity on Mars, like all of those missions. The reason for the private providers to be able to launch something comes from government. Those are not private yet. What you need is that shift for private industry to be able to provide and fund those missions in order to be able to support the private industry to continue doing that. So we're not there yet.
Half points. I'll give you half points because I think when you're talking,
That's my job.
All right, Ryan, can you give him a half point for me?
0.4.
All right, so I think I disagree with you when it comes to just regular payloads. I look at manifests from most of these companies, and very few of them are actually government payloads. It's actually a majority privatized payloads. However, if we start talking about sending giant ugly bags of mostly water to space, that is nearly 100% government at this point.
Is it private payloads or is it private payloads executing on government contracts?
I was going through a list in my head, and it's, to the best of my knowledge, is mostly private payloads. I would have to put the list in front of me to know that for certain. There are certainly government payloads in there. Not to say there are zero government payloads, but like a lot of it is private. A lot of it's private.
That's fair. But
so I'm gonna give you half point because the big cool
government does
the
subsidize
things that we care about. Oh yeah, 100%. But I think it's further along than you think it is.
A lot of our space flight.
I think you're just bitter because of Virgin Galactic. I think that's what happened. I'm just kidding.
I'm not bitter about Virgin Galactic at all. Virgin Orbit, on the other hand.
Oh, Virgin! Dang it! Oh, the joke would have landed better if I had actually said it correctly. Can we go back in time? Can we use Riverside to change the words I used? And make it
No, I think you blew it.
You only get to suck one fuel filter into a T, dude. That's it.
All right. On that great note, shall we move on to our next trivia question?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah. Let's see how everyone does. Because would it be another?
God! All right, I asked for a harder question.
Answer. Yeah. Okay, Jamie. What do you think? Percy found a spotty rock. I literally nearly made the lead into this question. Mars, blah blah blah. How wide is Jezero Crater? Is it 45 kilometers, 55 kilometers, 65 kilometers, or 75 kilometers?
Well, I know it ends in a 5.
I know it ends in an M.
That's an estimation. None of those are right.
Oh, is that what we're going with? Are we going to say that the question is incorrect?
This is according to the NASA website, who landed the bloody rover. Okay.
God. And the bigger issue is these are in, I don't know what units these are in, but they're not in freedom units, so I have no idea how to actually like.
Well, give us your best answer then, Jamie. Come on.
You know what? B did really good for me last time, so I'm going to say bravo B.
Okay. Mike?
I have no idea, so I'm going to guess with C. 65.
Okay. Dutta, considering you think the answer isn't on here, what do you think?
I'll go with D for Dutta.
Oh, that's a great.
Jared, what are you gonna go with? If there was anyone to get it right in the panel.
During the presentation, they said that Jezero Crater could fit the Los Angeles basin, so that's going to be A, 45 kilometers.
Okay. And what has chat been saying? What has chat answered with?
Chat went with A. Yeah.
Okay. Well, to literally nobody's surprise, Jared got it correct, and so did the chat room. Everyone else got it wrong.
Boo. Well, you get to keep your Infinity Stone, Ryan. Congratulations.
For now.
For now.
That's
that you gave me.
Oh my goodness. Well, at least we all got one right this week, so I'll take it.
Mike, I think you're sharing. You have to stop it. You have to stop the share. Yeah.
There we go.
Thank you.
I gotta be honest. I was hoping Jared would go first. I was gonna glom on or whatever.
Yeah, I purposely didn't do that. I purposely left him to last.
If it makes you feel any better, Dada, I was gonna do the same thing. I feel like that's.
I know these things.
No, that's Ryan. No, Ryan's cheating. No, that's Ryan cheating.
Not cheating.
Let's be clear.
I went in a completely random order that ended in Jared.
Lame.
I will grab my test and run down the halls with it so you can't cheat.
Have you seen the new tests that they give kids where the answer bubbles are in a circle and you have to rotate your test around so that if you're trying to look over someone's shoulder, you can't tell where they are in the test?
No, but that
clever.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I was like, oh, wow.
I was like, you could have been able to have figured it out to begin with. Anyhow, back in the day, like are you kidding me? Like everybody was on a different page.
That's true too. All right.
Everybody had different tests.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to skip the third segment if that's all right, because we're running quite a bit long today, mostly because we got started really, really late. I'm kind of peering at John to see if he's done clicking around. Give me a thumbs up if you're ready with. He's waiting for it to upload to the server. He said it's being slow. All right, let me see if I've got it.
Get our results page for you guys.
Let me see if I've got the
or
trivia.
We will literally never know how everybody did. I mean, that would be a great shame.
I don't know how I did.
I mean, Jared, you're still going to be leading no matter what, considering that everyone got 1 point, which means you essentially got nothing, and you were the only person to actually get the answer correct for the second round. So, net across the board, across the panel, you are literally the only person to score a point this week. Congratulations.
That helps since I wasn't there last week, so I'm for it.
Yeah, I was so hopeful we had a chance to catch up, but
nope. I've come here to bury you all.
Did you?
So what do
John,
I
did you get it, John, or is it not updated yet? All right. He says it's not letting him upload the file it shows that you're in it. So I don't know why you can't do it. What's the final scores? Is it just list them off and I'll read them out.
I can read them out for you.
Jared's at 37. Chat's at Mike is at chat's at 32. Mike's at 28. Dutta's at 23.5. And then I unfortunately remain at a big old goose egg. I don't know. Someday I will get one right.
I have slightly different numbers, so we'll have to double check that for next week, but it's close enough.
Wait. No, what numbers do you have, Ryan?
I have 28 for Mike, which is the same, 35 for Jared, 21.5 for Dutta, and 31 for Chat.
Looks like we're gonna have to go back and add up the scores again.
I mean, we could go back to last week's show, I guess, and figure out, what's going on there. There you go.
Mm.
Is that sharing? I hope that's sharing. So that's what,
Looks like
that's what,
me.
yeah, that's the, all right, there you go. All right. I also want to thank everyone who are, man, we went off the rails. Thank everyone who are members of Tomorrow for helping to make this happen week after week, month after month. We do have a few new members this week who brought the show or who subscribed to the show or who came back to subscription. So thank you very much to everyone. There's also a level, if it's like you can go all the way down to like $1 per, I think it's per month actually. So it's like less than a cup of coffee. That's the system support level all the way up to crazy amounts of money, whatever works for you. If you get value out of this show and you don't mind putting value back into the show, it is very greatly appreciated. So thank you to every single person who has their name on the show and everyone who had their name on the show, including those people who subscribe and they still don't get, like, one of the perks is not getting the name of the show will be eligible to hit After Dark, which will be up just shortly after this. Hey, look, we did a little bit better this week in Riverside, right? Like, I feel like it was still not
Getting there.
It still had some chaos. There was still some chaos, but like, we're getting better. We're getting better. We're doing a better job. So like, yeah. I think that that'll do it for us. I'd like to thank everyone so much for. Oh wow, I can't. Well, I was gonna run the close. Someone else run the close. Thank you so much for watching, and let's see how long it takes to run the close. Ooh, we did pretty good. That needs to be full screen though. Oh, the good part is now our audio's still up.
So that means
Right?
everyone gets to hear our clapping. Everybody
no,
ready?
They can see it. They can see our clapping. We do this every time. I don't know how many people know this. Every time we do that.
For years. It's tradition.
Yeah. And now the music's still playing. Yeah, well, until you stop it, but like, yeah. All right, that was a chaos-isode. I enjoyed it. For those of you who were so in sync, no, legitimately, like to everyone that we do, that is what we do. We were always able to hear ourselves on the backstage for EV Mux, and as soon as that came up, we were all just clapping along. But you never got to see it because there was no good way for us to have like our audio back in there. It was a whole mess. So yeah. Oh,
I mean, that even happened in the studio as well.
Yeah.
Like that is not like, oh, we just started doing it from home. Like, no, we would do it at the studio as well. So.
Ever since
Oh yeah.
204.
For years, we have clapped along to that.
Prior to 204.
Oh yeah,
I've been doing that since
True. Since at least
My place
February
in
6th of 2013.
Yeah. It's fun. It's like a little tradition. I'm glad that we got to kind of sort of bring that back. All right, everyone. We're gonna head over to After Dark.
6 years I've been putting up with your shit.
You're welcome. And I'm sorry at the same time. I am difficult, and I know I am difficult because even I am sometimes, I'm like, man, I'm doing it to myself. Melanie said, I loved that studio. We did too. We didn't leave. We left because we were forced to leave. They opted not to renew our lease because they wanted to like redo how the building worked. And so they're like, nope, you can't be here anymore. So they sold it. They sold the building to new owners. And then as soon as our lease was up, the new owners were like, you're out. And so I think they were just taking over everything. And I know that they didn't care because we damaged the building a little bit. There was...
Did you get your deposit
Was
back?
there MDF
All of it.
everywhere?
I got the entire deposit back. They just wanted us out, right? Which tells me they did not walk in there. They DGAF, right? They were just like, nope, like you just be gone. And as soon as we were gone, they're tearing down walls. You know what I mean? Whoever our neighbor was.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right.
On that note.
Yeah, thanks everyone. If you want to join us in After Dark and hear the chaos, and we'll probably do another Riverside some, you can subscribe for like $1 a month. It's super easy. Blah 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 blah. something. I didn't miss Dave Avery this week. Okay, cool. Just making sure because we don't see. That's fine. We'll talk about it in After Dark. We'll see you guys over there.
Thank you, guys. Bye.